Okay, just for the sake of convenience, I'm going to see who King's has here for counselors. So I'll call out those that I can see, and those that I can't see, would you please speak up? So Councillor Armstrong, Councillor Windsor, Councillor Allen.
Present. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Jim. Thank you.
No, it's Peter Allen.
Don't try to confuse me, Peter.
Okay.
Well, it's 2 o'clock. Let's do a roll call for Kings first, if I may, Kings County Council. So Councillor Harding, I see. Councillor Windsor, I see. Councillor Allen, I see. Councillor Armstrong, I see. There's myself. Any other councillors from Kings present that I haven't named? I'm admitting people left and right here, but they're not all mine, so.
Maybe we'll give them to you. I think I see everybody. Wendy Elliott is having technology issues, I see. I think everyone else from Wolfville is here.
Hey, Sandra, have you got everybody?
No, there's something going on with Teams. It's for some people, it's asking them to download, to reinstall Teams, and Jennifer is just sending them a link now. So, so I'm just waiting. I don't have. I do have quorum. There's me, Councillor Maxwell, Councillor Gerard, and Councillor York. Both Councillor Huntley and Councillor Savage, I've got them on my phone, and they're trying to get in. So if we could just wait a moment.
Sure, yep.
Wendy, do you want us to turn our cameras off now?
No, I'm just, Wendy Elliott says she can hear us, but we can't see her, so.
I can see Wendy.
I can see Wendy as well.
Wendy Elliott?
Wendy?
Yeah.
Okay, she feels that we
See,
can't
she's
see her,
waving
but
now.
I
can't
actually
see her.
can't see her, but.
As long as you're here.
Exactly. Apparently, Wendy, some people can see you.
So behave yourself.
I'll stop picking my nose.
Good plan.
It's
Just waiting for Deputy Mayor Savage.
Well, we are recording to assist with the, just thinking about the feedback here. Does anybody else get any feedback? No? Okay, so.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, well, perhaps what we can do is turn off our mics and then just press, I think you can just press your space bar into this program, can't you, Rob, in order to get your voice on rather than mess around with your mics all the time?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you turn your mic off and just hit your space bar when you wish to speak, that would be great. So I'm going to call the Council for Kings to order and ask that for the purposes of the record, we just identify who is present and who is not. So from those that I can see online, I'll name them. And for those that I have not named, would you please speak up if you are indeed present? So Councillor Windsor, Councillor Harding, Councillor Allen, myself, Councillor Armstrong. Is there any other councillor from Kings present?
Councillor Killam.
Councillor Killam, okay, thank you.
Councillor Granger.
Hurdle.
Councillor
Sorry.
Granger,
Councillor Hurdle.
Councillor Hurdle. So that's got everyone except the deputy mayor. Is the deputy mayor here?
She messaged to say she was running a bit late, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and call the Kings County Council to order, and then turn it over to the other mayors to call their councils to order. And then the first item of business will be the approval of the agenda. And then dealing quickly with disclosure of conflicts of interest, and then we'll call upon Mr. Frost to present regarding the Regional Recreation Facility Feasibility Study. So over to you, Mayor Donovan.
Thank you, Mayor Matart. Call the Town of Wolfville Council to order, and I will do the same thing. I see Deputy Mayor Madeira Voss, Councillor Butler, Councillor Ingham, Councillor Palmetier. I saw Councillor McKay, and I believe Councillor Elliott is with us as well, though I don't see your little round sign. And I don't think I've missed anybody. Not hearing that, Town of Wolfville is in session.
Mayor Snow.
Thank you. Town of Kentville is called to order. Present are Councillor Maxwell, Councillor York, and Councillor Gerard. The deputy mayor is having issues signing on, and Councillor Huntley is in another meeting, and I haven't heard from Councillor Zabian. However, we do have quorum, so Town of Kentville is present and ready to go on with the meeting.
Okay, thank you. So back to Kings for a moment. I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda. The agenda includes roll call, approval of the agenda, disclosure of conflicts of interest, a presentation from Mr. Frost, and any other business that may become before the meeting before adjournment. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda from Kings? Councillor Windsor.
I so move, Peter Allen.
Seconded by Councillor Allen. Thank you. All those in favor, raise your hands, please. Motion's passed. Agenda's approved. Are there any conflicts, disclosure of conflict interest issues to raise from any councillor for the municipality of Kings with regard to any item on the agenda, which is a one-item agenda? Seeing none, then I'll turn it over to Mayor Donovan to carry on with that part of the process, and then Mayor Snow, and then we'll hear from Mr. Frost, subsequent to which we'll make a motion, if satisfactory, to receive his report. You're on silent, Mayor Donovan.
Sorry, my mic was off. A motion, please, to approve the agenda as received.
I would move that, Mayor Donovan. I'd move to
Deputy
approve
Mayor
the
Madeira
agenda.
Voss and Councillor Butler. It's a one-item agenda. Does anybody wish to declare a conflict of interest related to the issue that we'll be discussing? If not, we'll move that on to Mayor Snow.
Thank you. As this is a special meeting, there is only one agenda item to receive the report on the Regional Recreation Facility. If I could have a motion to move that, please. Councillor York, thank you for the motion, and for a second. Councillor Maxwell, I saw your thumbs up. All those in favor? Those opposed, the motion is carried. And for the record, Deputy Mayor Savage is on speakerphone with Jennifer West.
Okay,
And are there any declarations of conflict of interest? There being none, moving on, back to you, Mayor Matart.
thank you. Mr. Frost, when you're ready, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Matart. So I will share my screen.
I wonder, could I ask a question initially, Mayor?
Sure.
Is this in camera or is it open session?
Well, this is an open session, but it's only to receive a report, and then the report, once received by all councils, will become a public document as we each go into our respective council sessions at some later time.
Okay, just wanted to be clear on that. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor Matart, and good afternoon to our council and to the councils for the town of Wolfville and the town of Kentville. So most of you know me, but my name is Rob Frost, and I'm the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for the municipality of the County of Kings. I'll be presenting today on behalf of the working group, and just so you're aware, that has representation from each of our municipalities with an elected official as well as staff from each of our units. So I've just shy of about 20 slides today, and then we can have some time to answer any questions that may arise. And just as a summary, councils were presented this information in camera before, and we'll explain a little bit about what will be coming forward for public information. So today what we're going to talk about is a summary of the project to date. We'll talk about the purpose of the project and the assessment that occurred on this project. We'll talk about the needs analysis, the concept development, and the costing of the potential project. We'll talk a little bit about the location considerations, just as far as what terms were used when that was investigated. We'll talk about the operations and governance of a potential project, next steps, timelines, and then we'll have some time for questions before receiving the public version of the study. So in the spring of 2021, the town of Wolfville, town of Kentville, and the municipality agreed to proceed with a study to look at the feasibility of a regional recreation complex. That summer, a request for proposals was developed and released, and also that summer, the working group was formed. And again, there's representatives with both elected officials and staff from each of our 3 units. In the fall of 2021, the contract to complete the feasibility study was awarded to Sierra Planning and Management from Toronto, Ontario, as well as their partners in this project, whom include Perkins and Will Architects, the engineering firm CBCL, and Hanscom Quantity Surveyors, who were the costing experts on this consultation. Consultation with the working group and community groups began in late 2021. So consultation and research continued in the winter and spring of 2022. The draft report was received by the working group in July of 2022. And then the working group worked with the consultant to refine the report to address some things that we felt needed to be included in the report. In the fall of 2022, the full report was presented to the 3 municipal councils at an in-camera session, similar to this one. And again, that was presented in camera due to Section 22 of the Municipal Government Act, Point A, which is due to the nature of potential sites that were identified in the report. After that presentation in October 2022, each municipal unit had their own further discussions as to how and if to proceed, and all 3 agreed to proceed to an interim stage to gather additional information on this project. Which brings us to today and the receipt of the report with the location information removed so that we can release the report publicly. So the purpose of the report the regional recreation facility feasibility study was to address the potential for such a facility and to provide information on all related factors, which included what should be included in such a facility if it were to be developed, the location analysis, capital costs, operating costs, governance suggestions, and economic impact of such a project. The consultant began their process by reviewing previous work that has been completed in the region. This included the Regional Recreation Needs Assessment that occurred a number of years ago. Oh, sorry, I'm getting lots of feedback there. A report that was completed in partnership with Acadia and Wolfville, and numerous other recreation plans and studies that have occurred in the past. So engagement, as part of the engagement function, the consultant held multiple small group meetings and a number of one-on-one meetings with current facilities and different user groups. And that occurred in the last part of 2021, first part of 2022. The engagement process was not exhaustive, and we recognize that there will be further need and opportunity for community engagement during the next phase of the project. The consultant also completed a review of comparable areas and general recreation service standards that provided information on things like how many pools, arenas, gymnasia, etc., that would be ideal to serve similar populations. Based on the discussions with the consultant, they repeatedly spoke to how facilities are currently developed and the most efficient use of resources when developing such a facility. So typically a regional complex has one or two core functions, and then there can be additional items added. In our case, the main core discussion has revolved around an aquatics facility with additional things that could be added and looked at. So based on the review of all the information, the recommendation is that we collectively look at developing a facility that would include an aquatics facility, a gymnasium with a walking track, space for additional supports and amenities, and also ensuring that a facility would be able to expand into other potential future opportunities. Specifically, the costing and consideration was based on the attached table, which includes an 8-lane, 25-meter pool, which would also have a leisure pool and a therapy pool. So this part of a proposed facility would be about 40,000 square feet. A double gymnasium, which would also include a 3-lane walking track. This would be about 18,500 square feet. Multi-purpose rooms, which is another approximately 5,000 square feet. Support and amenity space, which is about 12,000 square feet, for a total build of just shy of 75,000 square feet for a potential recreation facility. So the concept development, this graphic gives you an idea. Again, not necessarily what a layout would look like, but just some of the scale of the potential project. So on the right of this image, you see the proposed phase 1, so that's circled in red. So on the upper portion of that, you see that there would be a pool facility, which of course has to come with change rooms and all the additional amenity space. And then below there would be a double gymnasium with the walking track, as well as other multi-purpose space and amenity space. The way the report reads, it does discuss a potential phase 2, which would be the addition of arena surfaces, and again with some decision points that would happen down the road if that were to occur. So such a potential major project, of course, comes with major costs. The estimated cost of the core program, as mentioned, is $58 million to design and build the facility. So there are a number of additional factors that need to be considered, which would include exact cost of land, the cost needed to prepare the land, the exact amenities that would be included, whether or not we would focus on green aspects of a building, and then the finalized design with everything included would determine that final costing. So some considerations that need to occur on future funding would be the final cost sharing agreement between the municipal units in regards to both operating and capital components. We'd need to look at external funding sources, which may include discussion with other levels of government, may include discussions with private sector or donors and other public contributions. Interest rates are a big part of this discussion, depending on, again, how much money would need to be borrowed to develop such a facility. Currently, with interest rates being quite high, of course, that makes a large change in this model. So location considerations, and again, for the public version of this report, we don't go into detail, but the location analysis was based on current and future population in the county, proximity to existing recreation centers, anticipated changes in access to recreation as a result of closures or future decommissioning of facilities, drive time considerations and identification of sites that are within a reasonable drive time of a majority of the county residents. And when I say county residents, of course, that includes everybody in the county, including the towns, and specific considerations as discussed by the working group. So some of the additional considerations, the general recommendation is that ideally a future facility would be located between Colebrook and Wolfville, with the greater New Minas area being the preferred location. Further work needs to occur in regards to specific location information that would include such things as the availability of sites, additional potential sites that have not yet been considered, costs of attaining and developing specific sites, and the potential for growth on the site and in the general area of the site. So again, whether that be expansion of a facility or development of other amenities nearby to the facility. The consultant provided information on 3 main operating and governance scenarios, and it certainly acknowledged that there's many other options that could be investigated as well. So most of you are very familiar with intermunicipal service agreements, which we have a number of. That would certainly be one model. Non-arm's length municipal agency, so which would be more of a public board with still close to municipal connections. And then a public or not-for-profit partnership for operation. And an example might be a YMCA operating type model. So the next steps in this project, the first phase of this project was to receive the completed feasibility report, which is being done publicly by each municipal council today. The working group has identified a need to complete additional work and gather additional information before final decisions on if we can or should proceed to a design build RFP. And we are calling this interim step phase 1.5, and it includes a number of items that are being actively worked on by the working group. So what project phase 1.5 entails is, with the receipt of the public report today, it will be shared by each municipal unit. Wolfville blooms will be used to collect initial public thoughts. So again, we'll collect those directly. So if people have comment on the report, they'll be able to do so through that or through direct emails to anyone on the working group. Engagement plans will be finalized. So again, with the recognition that there will need to be further public consultation as we move forward. Additional information is being gathered on a number of items, including location, governance, and certainly looking at other models in the province to get more specific information from them as to how they operate. And this is being done by a number of us on the working group. And then funding considerations are also occurring. So again, looking at other options, other ways that we may look at funding such a facility. So timelines, again, such a large project takes time to do and to do well. And due to the scope of the project, it is important to do our due diligence at each stage of such a project. So there's many items of project phase 1.5 that are planned to occur this spring and summer. Funding considerations may take some time, considering that depending on where we may be looking and what sort of grants might be available or who might be willing to fund, we might need to look at, certain cycles of funding programs that might be out there. Public engagement will need to occur once more information is finalized. So once we have a clearer picture of the exact process, we will be able to provide more information to the public to have some good discourse. Municipal units would then need to decide to proceed to construction. So, we're estimating that decision will occur sometime within the next year, we're saying. It might be a year or a little bit longer than a year. Then we would look to design bid build or design build request for proposal, which would need to be developed. And of course, that's not a small process when you're developing such a facility. So that would be another year to 2 years. Contracts would be awarded, construction certainly 1 to 2 years, if not even possibly longer. And then, so the estimation of this total project is that it's a 5 to 7 year project. And again, that's being if everything tracks as we would like to see it. So with that, Mr. Mayor, and again, today is really about receiving a report which has just been revised from when it was presented in camera to the 3 municipal units. The real difference between this report and what you would have seen is that it has been refined a little bit by the consultant working with the working group. And then also the specific location information has been removed due to the confidential nature. So in that portion of the report, it just basically speaks to the process that would be used to identify sites. So with that, Mr. Mayor, we could certainly take questions. And we have the recommendation, which is basically to receive for information the public version of the Regional Recreation Center feasibility study.
Thank you, Mr. Frost. Questions for the presenter, Councillor Windsor? Handle your own mic, please.
Mr. Chair, through you to Rob, we've got this label 1.5 phase to occur. So I presume at some point we're all going to have to, do we have to decide that we're going to undertake 1.5? And relatedly, is there another phase before a decision to move forward or not occurs, or does that decision occur after 1.5?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Windsor. So each municipal units did have discussion. I believe it was after the meeting in October. So I know we met in November, Councillor Windsor, to give direction to the CAO to proceed to the 1.5. So yes, after that, certainly each municipal unit will need to make discussions. The tricky thing here is that, there's a lot of information that we still need to gather before, a fulsome decision could be made. So when we can receive all that information, or when we feel we have all that information, will be dependent a little bit upon when we can go back to the 3 municipal units for further decisions.
Does that respond, Councillor?
Yeah, so there's not like a phase 2 after this. Phase 1.5 will get us to the point where we can decide to move forward or not to move forward.
Yeah, again, through you, Mr. Chair, so phase 2, the way that the original request for proposal read was that phase 1 was basically the development and research of the study, and that we would receive the study. And then phase 2 was basically proceeding to a build. So what we're saying is that before we can move on to that phase 2 of the RFP and design, we need to gather further information.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other councillor out there, whether your town or county, that has a question of the presenter? Now would be the time to jump in. Clarification of anything? All perfectly clear? Okay, you could take your hand down, Councillor Windsor. All right, then, from the point of view of the, well, obviously what we're here, I'm sorry?
Mayor Matart, it's Jennifer
Yes.
West talking. I have Kate Savage on the phone, and I just want to make sure that she has the ability to ask a question.
Certainly.
Deputy Mayor, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
So hold on. Mayor Matart, can you hear her when she speaks, or should she tell me the question and then I'll relay it?
We can hear her.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you. And sorry about this, folks. I'm just having some technical difficulties here, so I'm just here via phone and not here via Teams. My question, and I'm just sort of getting bits and pieces of the presentation, but around the financing piece, was it covered off sort of how that would be, what portion of it would be financed, and if so, what would be the responsibility for each of the units in terms of percentage of servicing? Thank you.
Well, we're not at that. My answer would be we're not at that stage yet, Deputy Mayor, but you know, because obviously we don't know what we're going to get from senior levels of government by way of contribution. And we haven't ironed out the financial sharing details between the respective partners in the process. But I'll send it back over to you, Mr. Frost. Did you have any response?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And certainly we've talked about, you know, what it could look like. It is a bit early to determine exactly. And with the understanding that, you know, even if so I think each council looked at it and said, you know, we don't necessarily want to try and fund $58 million, but certainly if we can find external funding, that changes the discussion. And then what's left over, how we would share that needs to be part of the governance agreement and operating and capital agreement that would happen between the three municipalities. And then each municipality, of course, would then have to decide how they would fund their portion. So, and, you know, some of it might be from reserves, some of it might be borrowing, and some of it might be some other method.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Deputy CEO Frost and Mayor Richard.
Thank you. Councillor Granger, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to ask, I know the study is going to the public. Is this also going to the press or media today?
Yep, through you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for that question, Councillor Granger. So there is a press release that's been developed by our communications staff of each municipal unit that's been developed basically to provide this, which is one of the reasons we wanted to have this joint meeting today, so that all three councils received the report at the same time. Otherwise, we would have been, you know, 1 week and then the next week. So there is a news release that will be sent out immediately following this meeting. And then there'll be also some additional information about frequently asked questions that will be available on all of our websites and also on the Wolfville Blooms.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Killam. Do you hand your own mic, please? Councillor Killam? Councillor Killam, you're on mute, so we'll...
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
You hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question would be, during the study, was there any study on the impact this may have on private gym operators, if any, in the area? And I guess that's what I was question was.
Mr. Frost?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Killam. Sorry. So I believe
Jennifer, I can hear it.
I'm going to ask folks if they wouldn't mind turning their mics off until they've got an opportunity to speak to all of us. Thanks. Go ahead, Mr. Frost.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I believe Councillor Killam, just if you couldn't hear, his question was, what did the consultant look at if such a facility would have an effect on private gymnasiums, or gyms? Councillor Killam, yeah. So we didn't specifically look at that, and really what the recommendation for what would be included in this facility would not be a gym from a workout type facility. So it's really focused on the aquatics facility, and when I say gymnasium, I mean like a basketball court type facility. So it's not necessarily a workout facility, which is what is typically the private sector.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Windsor again. Councillor Windsor, you're on mute.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a question or thought when we get to the decision-making process. Will it be like a two-stage decision-making process? One is, do we want to proceed? And second is then a decision on site. And I just say that because sometimes the site debate can cloud what is the fundamental question, which is there the need and do we agree with the need? And maybe that thinking hasn't gone that far ahead yet.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Windsor, certainly I would say that those are things that we would need to consider. So we probably haven't got there yet. What I would say is that the site will determine costs quite a bit. So we need the more refined a decision we can have at the end of the day when we're ready to make a decision, the better, because then we'll know exactly what you're agreeing to, as opposed to, you know, having multiple decisions.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Deputy Frost. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kellum, did you have a follow-up, or is your hand just still up from the last time?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the presenter? Any other questions? If not, then from the point of view of the Municipality of Kings, I'm looking for a motion to receive the report of the Deputy CAO regarding the Recreation Facility Feasibility Study Consultant's Report for information. Do I have a mover of the motion? Moved by Councillor Granger. Seconder, Councillor Windsor. Any discussion? All those in favor, would you please raise your hands?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is passed. That's the action from the Municipality of Kings. I'll pass it on to Mayor Donovan for Wolfville.
Thank you. So the motion is in front of us. In our case, it would be that the Town of Wolfville Council receive for information the public version of the Regional Recreation Center feasibility study. I cannot see anybody from Wolfville Council, so if someone would like to move that, just shout out your name, please.
Jen will move.
Donovan.
Okay, Councillor Ingham, and a seconder, please.
I will.
I don't know who that was.
Wendy.
Okay,
Wendy.
Councillor Elliott, is there any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Town of Wolfville has passed that.
Thank you, Mayor Snow.
Thank you. The motion that Kentville receive the information, the public version of the Regional Recreation Center feasibility study and further direction to the CAO to include the matter on the March 13th CAC meeting of council agenda. If someone could move that, please.
I'll move
So
it.
moved, Deputy Mayor Savage.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Councillor Maxwell? It has been moved and seconded that Kentville receive the information, the public version of the Regional Recreational Center feasibility study and further direction to the CAO to include the matter on the March 13th meeting of council agenda. Is there any further discussion on this matter? Are you ready for the question? The question is that Kentville receive for information the public version of the Regional Recreation Center feasibility study and further direction to the CAO to include the matter on the March 13th CAC meeting of council agenda. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. So just to reiterate very quickly, I mean, the whole purpose of this meeting was that we had to all get together at one time, as Rob has already explained, so that we could receive this, and it wasn't one council receiving it and then getting it out into the community before another council had an opportunity to do the same thing. So it's all going out at the same time. It's all being made available publicly at the same time, and people are very anxious to have input into this, so you can expect questions regarding it. But we're just going to have to keep referring them back to the report itself, unless you've got the report memorized, and you can give them the answers to the questions. But in the long and short of it is that we've got a 5 to 7 year timeline here. It's not going to happen tomorrow. There's nothing in the report that that is currently considered to be phase one, certainly to be considered as competitive to our existing recreation facilities in the area. There's no competition for the rinks. There's no competition for any public, any privately owned gymnasia facilities. And we're still looking at a whole bunch of factors, not just where it's going to be sited, but where it's going to, what it's going to cost and how that cost sharing is to take place. So there's a lot of work to be done, but also it's important that people now have the opportunity to have input. And if we could all direct them to Woofle Blooms, I mean, our press releases will do that in any event, but they can give actual input through that site. And of course, they can show up at your public meetings if they wish to make representations there. So is there any other comment or any other business to come before the meeting insofar as the municipality of Kings is concerned? Hearing none, then I'm looking for a motion from the municipality of Kings to adjourn its meeting. Could I have a motion, please? Moved by Councillor Killam. Seconded by Councillor Windsor. No discussion on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. Contrary minded. We stand adjourned, and we are able to sign off and just leave Rob hanging in the balance here if you wish, or stick around and watch the others adjourn, whatever is your preference. Thank you. Mayor Donovan?
Okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn this meeting, please?
So moved.
Deputy Mayor Madeira Foss, and I heard another voice. Was
I'll
that okay,
second.
Councillor Butler?
Councillor Butler.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And we are adjourned, and enjoy the rest of your day, Wolfville Council.
Thank you. Town of Canfield, the business of this meeting has concluded. The meeting is adjourned and the time is 2:41. Thank you very much.
Bye all.
See ya.